All right, Shalom, this is Gamal Yala, Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to give our praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim pushing out this truth and sincerity. It's a quick lesson. All right, it's going to be dealing with the dollar collapse. All right, and as you see here, this is a video that I found. Impacts of a week. What happens if the U.S. dollar collapses? And this is a portion of that video. Impacts of a weak dollar.
Then this benefit may be limited. Now, to combat inflation, the Federal Reserve, of course, can raise interest rates. Higher rates could slow economic growth, raise mortgage and credit card payments, leading to a recession. Now, lowering interest rates when inflation is increasing, that's a concern that you see perhaps voiced today. If the current administration chooses to do that, that will typically exacerbate inflation, so it's not a good thing to do. Now, foreign investors, when the U.S. dollar weakens, also might reduce their purchases of U.S. Treasury bonds, pushing up yields and increasing the cost of government borrowing, so that's a problem. The bigger picture would be that if confidence in the dollar erodes significantly, then this could jeopardize the dollar's role as the global reserve currency.
Now I'm going to stop it there, because what he just said was a key point, is that confidence in the dollar could drop. And eventually that will happen, because people are going to realize that it's low. As it's lowering, when people's faith in it goes away, it's really gonna be done, because people are gonna start looking at other means of currency, such as crypto, and converting it to different currencies. But I want to go back a little bit, because it says the impacts of a weak dollar. So it says goods imported to the U.S. like electronics, oil, and consumer products become much more expensive, driving up prices. And it says this could lead to significant inflation. And the reason why that is because everything relies on oil. Literally everything that you see relies on oil. When you go to the store, everything on those shelves requires that a truck come to transport it. And those trucks rely on oil. All right, but it says U.S. goods are cheaper. So that's as a result, yeah, U.S. goods are cheaper. But it says, however, if domestic production can't meet demand or relies on imported inputs, which are now costlier, this benefit may be limited. Yeah, because there's certain items, U.S. made items, that rely on imports from other countries. Actually, most of them do. But for the ones that don't, okay, it says the demand's gonna be too high where they can't meet that. They're not gonna be able to meet the demand to supply a whole country. Now it says to combat inflation, the Federal Reserve might raise interest rates. It says higher rates could slow economic growth, raise mortgage and credit card payments, leading to recession. So basically, as the dollar weakens, everyone is going to be, down bad. All right. It says foreign investors might reduce purchases of U.S. Treasury bonds, pushing up yields and increasing the cost of government borrowing. Now, I want to get this, because this is off of RT.com, which is Russia Today, because it says that one second. It says, where is it? Here it is. Ruble strengthens to 2-year high against the U.S. dollar. Now this is Russia's currency, but it says it strengthens to 2-year high. It says the Russian ruble has climbed to a 2-year high against the U.S. dollar, supported by easing geopolitical tensions and renewed hopes for resolving the Ukraine conflict. All right. The Russian currency reached 78.9 against the dollar, its strongest level since mid-2023. It has gained about 11% since early March. So as the dollar is going down, as the dollar is going down, the ruble is going up. All right, so Russia is strengthening themselves. And not only that, but, you go into Ezekiel 38, going into the hooks being put in Gog and Magog, all right, which is talking about Russia. But also, Russia just, this is also breaking news, is that Russia just blew up one of the U.S. missile defense facilities in Ukraine. All right, and they basically said that they're going to continue. Any efforts to help Ukraine is basically not going to do anything. And they said that, all it's going to do is just eventually escalate into all-out war, all-out conflict. So, so this is what we're dealing with right now. I'm going to get some precepts. All right, because, the dollar collapse is imminent. This is Ecclesiastes 12:4. It says, I start at 3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." So the point here is that it says the keepers of the house shall tremble. People are going to be trembling, man. All right, but it says the grinders cease. Who are the grinders? The work. Basically, the work is going to cease because they are few. There's not going to be anyone working. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. But it says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." So the economy is low. The sound of the grinding is talking about the economy being shot. And it says, but it also says the doors shall be shut in the streets. So the door is going to be boarded up, closed down. They're not going to be able to sustain business because things are going to be too expensive, which is going to trickle into hyperinflation. All right, it says, "And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." So that was that. Now, another thing I want to mention is in this video, it's a good video, you should check it out, but he goes into scenario analysis, then he goes into hyperinflation. And hyperinflation is when things are in emergency. It's in the red zone, so to speak. Then he goes into how to protect yourself, which is commodities, real estate, gold, even things of that nature. But the only way to protect yourself is YAHAWASHI, is the Lord, through the Lord. Because ultimately, money is not going to be a thing anymore. It's going to be a thing of the past. And guess what? It's Isaiah 33:6. "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." So wisdom and knowledge is going to be the new currency, not physical money, because that's not going to get you anything. It's not going to get you a slice of bread. Everything's going to be too expensive. Nobody's going to be working. So things are going to be rough. But wisdom and knowledge will be a stability. And ultimately, faith is what's going to carry those that are going to make it. It's going to carry us through to where we'll be all right. So, I just wanted to touch on those things. Lord willing, you're edified. And by giving our praise and honor and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Shalom.